Hey everybody, I am Jesse Dollemore. Let's have a conversation. Of the billions of jobs that exist on planet Earth, Donald Trump has the most important one. The most sobering and serious job of all of them. Unfortunately, it belongs to possibly the least serious person who just so happens to be technically constitutionally qualified to hold it. We are in a crisis, America. Donald Trump is abdicating his duties and responsibilities on a continuous and daily basis. Is this because of his woefully incomplete understanding of the history and foundational principles of our beautiful and complex country? Is it because of his stark inability to grasp the nuance of complex concepts like ethics and morality, patriotism, and basic human decency? Or is it because he's a shitty sociopath with an overwhelming focus on self-interest? I think it's a combination of all of these things, and likely a few others sprinkled in there as well. For instance, today, what does this particular president have on his plate? Well, matters of critical import, like always, like with any president. He could be focusing on North Korea. Donald Trump has eschewed vital diplomacy and pushed us closer to the brink of nuclear war than we've been since the 1960s. He could be focusing on his and his party's repeated attempts to dismantle the healthcare system and 1/6 of the American economy along with it, while stripping life-saving medical insurance from tens of millions of people. Hell, he could even be focusing on his impending indictment and removal from office, which is in full swing in his own Justice Department, resulting from a special counsel's investigation of collusion with a hostile foreign power during this past election, obstruction of justice, as well as financial crimes. All of those things, which even a mediocre president would be spending time on, he's not. Not Donald Trump. Nobody. What did Donald Trump, President of the United States of America, choose to spend his morning doing? Well, for one, he blocked me on Twitter, essentially abridging my constitutionally protected free speech, especially related to commentary and criticism of my government and its elected officials. The fact, there is a case right now working its way through the courts against this weakling, thin-skinned president. It's being brought to the court by the Knight First Amendment Institute at Columbia University on behalf of several Americans who've already been blocked by Donald Trump on Twitter. Several cases, in fact, set a precedent that will likely be followed, including one which a district court judge explained in his decision. Quote, "Indeed, the suppression of critical commentary regarding elected officials is the quintessential form of viewpoint discrimination against which the First Amendment guards," unquote. And this decision, his decision, was predicated on an earlier Supreme Court free speech case, Packingham versus North Carolina, in which the court asserted that social media may now be, quote, "the most important modern form for the exchange of views." In its finding for the plaintiff, the Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court, held that we, quote, "cannot treat a First Amendment violation in this vital developing forum differently than we would elsewhere," unquote. So, I guess I will see you in court, Mr. President. Well, other than personally violating my civil rights, what issues, other than those vital to the national interest, did he spend his day on? Well, he tweeted this, quote, "If a player wants the privilege of making millions of dollars in the NFL or other leagues, he or she should not be allowed to disrespect our great flag, our great American flag or country, and should stand for the national anthem. If not, you're fired. Find something else to do," unquote. So beyond the fact that he's abusively taken a sledgehammer to the English language and the elementary rules of capitalization, he's just leaking his wrong all over the place. First of all, being in the NFL or other professional sports league isn't a privilege. It's a job. Men and women enter into an employment contract to do a specific job and are paid in accordance with that agreement, just like doctors, lawyers, bus drivers, or plumbers. Secondly, they should not be allowed to disrespect our great American flag or country? This is just basic civics, you unmitigated moron. What is with these fake patriots? Listen, the wonder and beauty of our great American flag and country is that they represent freedom so pure and secure that they withstand and even encourage dissent from the citizenry. Those rights were so important that they were enshrined in the Bill of Rights in the very First Amendment. Our country began with protests against the power structure at the time. Kneeling silently while our national anthem plays is dissent. And there is nothing more American than dissent. Nothing other than mediocrity is achieved without dissent. No progress is gained without dissent. A more perfect union is impossible without people like Colin Kaepernick, who are willing to put their money where their mouth is and foster tough conversations. Even if Kaepernick is wrong about the issue he's raising awareness about, he's not. But even if he was, he is still doing a service to our republic because he is allowing us to have conversations critical to the continued growth of this 241-year-old experiment we call America. The other BS tweet he fired off in a naked attempt to avoid the important issues which face him as president was directed at the Golden State Warrior basketball star Stephen Curry. With a tweet that cements Donald Trump's six-year-old mentality, he fired off the classic, no, you can't quit because I'm already going to fire you first. He tweeted, quote, "Going to the White House is considered a great honor for a championship team. Stephen Curry is hesitating, therefore invitation is withdrawn." Unquote. Goddamn. Well, one doesn't have to read too tightly between the lines to see that our sensationally sensitive, snowflakey president didn't want to look like he's getting snubbed by people who weren't willing to grace him with their presence at our White House, which, by the way, because of the past 7 months, now needs a thorough, deep cleaning. Instead of wasting their time with our narcissist in chief, the Warriors should hang out with President Obama for the day. At least then, they wouldn't be at any risk of getting any residual Russian hooker urine on them. Hey everybody, thank you so much for checking out my channel and this video. If you like what I do here and you appreciate it, go ahead and click subscribe. And if you really like it and appreciate what I do and you'd like to join my Patreon family, there's another link there for that. It's not just for the podcast. It's also for YouTube. Thanks a lot.